Welcome once again to another edition of Shelf Life Book Reviews Online. It's a dreary day out here in London, Ontario, so hopefully I'll bring some sunshine into wherever you're listening from. And I've got a book that is filled with sunshine. It is called Love, Pamela by Pamela Anderson. This is published by Day Street and it retails for $37. Now, people have an image of Pamela Anderson, and I don't care what the image is. I would classify this as one of my favorite 6 autobiographies in the last year or so. People have called her a dumb blonde, and there's nothing dumb about this lady. She's a smart, intelligent woman, and once you read her book, if you have a negative impression of her, I think it's going to turn positive, because this book is really one that is a classic in many ways. We all know her as, she's had a lot of incarnations. Her most famous was on Baywatch in the famous red bathing suit. But long before that, her life was filled with a lot of sorrow and tragedy. She was assaulted by a babysitter for several years while she was a young child. She also, her father, their cat had kittens, and the father was upset, so he took the bag of kittens out to a body of water, and he took her with him, and he made her watch him drown the kittens inside the bag. Now, that definitely would cause a lot of childhood trauma, along with the sexual assault. So it hasn't been the easiest of life. Quite innocently, her claim to fame came during a football game when she was at the stadium in Vancouver, and the Jumbotron suddenly panned to her in the crowd. And people saw this blonde girl and they were quite impressed. And so, like they say, the rest is history. She went on to gain fame when she sent her pictures into Playboy, and she was chosen as a potential playmate. Now, she had a fiance in Vancouver at the time, very controlling man, and when she said she wanted to go to, Playboy in the States, he was very upset. So actually, she just left. She knew she had to get away from him because he was bad news all the way. So she snuck across the border. She went by bus, and she ended up with Playboy. Marilyn Grabowski, who was one of the liaisons in Playboy, really took her under her wing, and Pamela told her about this situation, and she told her not to worry, that they would protect her. They turned into her protector. So she got to go to the Playboy Mansion. She met Hugh Hefner, and it was quite a culture shock in many ways. Now, they were all very good to her at the Playboy Mansion, so she writes glowingly about those days at the mansion and meeting Hugh Hefner and in the Playboy world. So they sort of groomed her eventually to make the cover of Playboy. I believe it was 1989, if I'm not mistaken. And then there was the stint on Home Improvement where she was the Tool Time girl. She was the first. And she talks about the first time that she met Tim Allen on the set of Home Improvement, that he actually came and flashed himself to her, saying that, he'd seen her without clothes on, so she could see him. And there's been a lot of controversy. He's denied the whole thing, so whether it's true or not, I don't see any reason for her to make that up. But in the book, we find out about her famous or infamous relationship with rocker Tommy Lee. Now, it was basically love at first sight. They had a great romance. They got married, and they had 2 children together. But as the years progressed, he got very controlling, and he took out his anger on her. One time he pushed her up against the wall, and she had her child with her. So after that, she knew right away she couldn't stay. So it is a very interesting life in so many ways. And the book, actually, she says the book began as a like a 50-page poem, and it just worked from there. Now she does add some poetic touches to the book. There are like long poems. They're not nonsense poems. There are poems that make statements about her life, her world, and what she has experienced. And she has been through a lot. She talks about a stalker who one day somehow got into the house she was staying at, and I guess she'd been there for several days. Pamela says she notices things were missing and food was missing, and when she confronted the lady, she was wearing her famous Baywatch swimsuit. This woman who got into the house, she hadn't bathed, so they did get rid of her. She went with the swimsuit, which was really freaky, but let's just say the book is filled with so many great moments. She has found love again, and she also has created the Pamela Anderson Foundation to help the rainforest and the environment. So she's very, very dedicated to that. So say what you will about Pamela Anderson. She's definitely a woman who makes a great statement. The book is so readable. And the strange thing is, and I'm going to take this off here, I just happened to see it. It doesn't even mention this, that there is a fold out of her inside. So, like, she's not trying to exploit her image. This is just like a throwaway. I don't know. I just happened to see it. But anyways, if you want to read a good book, Love, Pamela is a book you will truly love. It's one of the best autobiographies I have read in quite some time, and I hope you'll agree with me. So let me know if you do purchase it. If you do agree or you don't agree, I still think you should read it because it's definitely worth your time and money. So until we meet again, stay safe, stay sane, and stay in touch. And thanks again. And I will see you at the bookstore. Bye for now.